Good evening. You're watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News channel. This show is about making the law work for you by giving legal advice on topics that matter to you. I'm attorney Karen Jimeno.
And I'm attorney Nepomuceno. Today, we celebrate our first year anniversary on air. And we are here at the San Juan City Gymnasium for our legal aid outreach program.
Good evening. You're watching Legal Help
Since
Desk.
airing our first episode last November 26, 2012, we have provided our viewers with legal advice on topics that matter to them. Now on our first anniversary for giving us their support, Legal Help Desk is giving back to some of our viewers by providing free legal counsel through a legal outreach program and services from our partners in government, the Social Security System, Pag-IBIG Fund, and PhilHealth to our viewers from the city of San Juan. In the last few months, we have gathered questions from our viewers on how they can avail of these services and more. And it is through this outreach program that we hope to get to know our viewers better and understand their needs more. But we are not just providing them free legal counsel, we also provide them with a medical mission as well. It is our hope that through this outreach program, more Filipinos would be more aware of their legal rights and therefore know how to approach their concerns legally and rightfully.
You're still watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News channel. And we are still here at the San Juan City Gymnasium for our legal aid outreach program. And we have here several of our government agencies like Pag-IBIG, SSS, and PhilHealth. I'm now here at the Pag-IBIG booth and we are joined by Francis Castillo. During the course of this outreach program, ano yung normal questions na nakukuha ninyo?
Normally na tanong ng mga clients ng Pag-IBIG Fund ay yung kanilang contributions, yung benefits na makukuha nila at regarding loans.
Meron ba mga lumapit para mag-apply ng loans?
Sa ngayon, wala pa naman po, pero more on contributions yung mga lumapit.
Okay. And were they able to get an updated statement of their contributions when they went here to your booth?
Ang mapaprovide po namin sa kanila yung figures ng kanilang contributions, then yung breakdown, pwede po sila makahingi sa kanilang mga respected branches. Wala po tayong San Juan branch, ang under po sa kanila ay Cubao or Camias branch.
Okay. So for those na hindi taga San Juan, what would be your advice to them if they want to see yung updated contributions nila?
Pwede po silang pumunta sa Cubao branch or kung under sila ng employer, pwede po silang pumunta sa branch kung saan po nagre-remit ang kanilang present employer.
And yung other question would be, pagka po yung lumalapit sila dito ngayon, pwede ba silang makapag-apply ng loan today?
Ang loan po natin ay nire-receive ng mga branches. Then kapag housing loan naman po, sa housing sector po tayo, sa Mandaluyong City.
So basically today, the type of advice you were able to give dun sa outreach program, pag lumalapit sila, would be paano mag-apply ng loans,
Tama
saan
po.
dapat pumunta,
Opo.
and of course yung mga contributions, kung updated ba sila sa payment.
Tama po.
Okay. Kung may mga katanungan po kung paano sila mag-update ng payments, kaya nyo rin po sagutin.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Francis, and salamat din sa Pag-IBIG for being here today at our outreach program.
You're welcome
Thank
po.
you. Now, let's go to the PhilHealth booth, and joining the people there is attorney Nepomuceno. Rod, what's going on there?
And thanks very much, Karen. And right now, I'm here at the PhilHealth table naman, all right? This is where they process some of the concerns of our citizens here in San Juan who are asking questions about PhilHealth-related issues. And with us naman is Mel Locson. Mel? How are you? How are you? All right. So you're getting a lot of inquiries. Ano yung usual inquiries or questions and services you're providing for our kababayans here in San Juan?
Okay, first, they inquire about their ID, their MDR, kung kasama ba sa MDR nila ang kanilang mga dependents.
Member data record.
Yes, MDR is member data record, and those people na hindi pa enrolled. So, pwede natin silang ma-enroll today.
Ano ba yung mga legal requirements to be enrolled in PhilHealth?
Wala naman. So ngayon, ang PhilHealth po ay wala ng requirements pagka ikaw ay nag-enroll.
Okay. So you don't have to be employed. no? I-clarify natin yan. Minsan, akala nila they have to be employed to be in
No.
PhilHealth. So,
Pwede pong mag-enroll sa amin ngayon, kahit employed, self-earning individuals, or yung mga nag-voluntary contributions.
right. Now, madali ba? Yung process ba? Do they have to
Yes.
fill up a lot of forms?
No.
And,
Ang kailangan lang nilang pilapan is the PMRF. So, unified ang ating membership forms. Nandun na rin ang enrollment, pati ang updating.
Alright. Do they have to pay any fee? Let's say ID fee? Ganun?
No, wala po tayong fees for the printing of MDR and for the ID.
Ayan. Now, when it comes to the claiming naman, meron ba kayong services here that you're helping them out in some of the claims that they have? Kasi sometimes, although ideally, walang cash out sila, no? Whenever they're hospitalized or their relative is hospitalized, ideally, wala nang cash out. So, binabawasan na ng PhilHealth
nag-outright
from the total
deduction,
bill, no?
yes.
And hopefully covered nga.
Yes.
Lahat. Let's say, nasa public hospital, ganun. But sometimes meron silang cash out, di ba?
Yes.
Kunyari lang, in a private hospital. Ngayon, when it comes to, may mga situations kasi, na hindi nila na-fulfill yung lahat ng documentation for PhilHealth and they had to pay it, they can claim for reimbursement naman.
Yes. So, ang mangyayari doon, pagka ganon, so babayaran nila ng full ang hospital and then pupunta sila sa PhilHealth to file. Ang pagpa-file natin is 60 days after the discharge and ang mga kailangan natin, yung CF1 with the CF2 and waiver from the hospital.
Na matagal ba yung process na yun of
Hindi
reimbursement?
naman, hindi
Ano
naman
yung
po.
usual, processing time?
Ang rule po ng PhilHealth ay dapat tayo ay may 60 days na processing period. So, after 60 days, meron na pong check-in na sila makukuha.
Now, itong pagka-claim no, sa PhilHealth, siyempre kailangan, just like insurance, you're contributing or parang in effect, you're paying premium. No? Ano yung requirement, yung minimum requirement of number of months that they paid para sila makapag-claim sa PhilHealth?
Okay, sa ngayon, no, unified na rin tayo. Which means lahat po ay pwede ang kailangan lang po na contributions para ma-avail ang benepisyo natin is 3 months within 6 months period. Lahat po ng employed, lahat po nagbabayad ng voluntary, lahat po ng individually paying members.
Right. So kung December tayo ngayon, dapat since nung May,
yes.
dapat nagbayad sila at least 3 months.
At least 3 months
of,
within that
premium.
6
Ayan,
months.
maraming salamat. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Mel. You're doing a good job.
Okay.
And now I'm
Thank
going to
you.
turn it over to Karen at the SSS booth.
Thanks, Rod. I am now here at the SSS booth and I'm joined by Miss Cynthia Cabardo. Hi, Miss
Hi.
Cynthia.
Good evening to all.
Oo.
Oo.
Kamusta naman po yung outreach nyo today?
Yes, our outreach today is napaka-helpful sa amin talaga yung aming online. So we have online for today. Ang mga queries na tinatanong ng ating mga members are maternity benefit, contributions to qualify for retirement, death, disability, and sickness. And we also have queries on their loan balances. We have nabigay namin sa kanila. One also verified on the death benefit of the parents. Yes, so
So
far.
it looks like you were getting a lot of questions throughout the
Yes,
day.
oo, napakarami po. And then we also have how to become a self-employed member of SSS. So for as long as you have not reached 60 years old, you can avail of being a member as voluntary or as employed. And then we also have verification on maternity and sickness. We have also complied with their queries right now kasi because of our online. It's good, hindi pumalpak yung ating online for today. So
Yes, you keep mentioning this online.
Yes.
Nakikita ko dito. It looks like you only have to put the SSS number. So for people who
Yes.
come here, they just need to give their SSS number and then you're able to show them kung ano yung contributions nila, ano yung
Yes.
status nila.
Yes. For the 10-digit SSS number, we can verify everything. So we have their contributions, their loan balances, and the information on their employers.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good to know. And Miss Cynthia, you mentioned earlier na as long as you're not yet 65, you can be a member of
Yes.
SSS.
For-
For those who come here, can they apply through this booth?
Yes, so meron na kaming application forms. So for those members na wala pang 60 years old, they can become a member of SSS. Lahat ng application forms we have here. And then ang application po ng self-employed will be done at our SSS office. Ang pinakamalapit po natin is our San Juan branch office.
San Juan branch.
Yes.
Okay. And for those outside of Metro Manila, can they do this at home?
Yes,
Pwede
kasi
online yung application.
we have our SSS website at www.sss.gov.ph na pwede silang mag-download ng application.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Useful information and good luck.
Okay.
Thank you po for joining us today. Thank you, SSS.
Ayan.
At
You're welcome.
salamat po at marami kayong natulungan today.
Yes, thank you.
You're still watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News Channel. And we are still here at the San Juan City Gymnasium for a Legal Aid Outreach Program. And we are now joined by the Dean of PUP College of Law, Dean Jimeno Atty, and Attorney Ruth Balita of San Sebastian College of Law. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us at our outreach program.
Dean,
It's nice to be
Attorney
back
Ruth.
here.
Yeah. Okay.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, this is a very interesting topic that we're going through because obviously when it comes to barangay procedure, I mean judicial procedure, a lot of our televiewers, and in fact, a lot of our citizens are not aware of yung parang mandatory requirement that you have to go through a barangay procedure process before you are able to file cases in court. Perhaps you can, maybe Dean, we can start off with you. No? Anong,
Yes.
What are the usual cases that nearly really have to go through a barangay process before they can even file cases in court?
One of the confusion is that they do not know how to institute criminal or civil action. So whether this case has to undergo barangay conciliation and mediation. But the law requires that as a general rule, it should be referred first to barangay for conciliation and mediation unless and until it falls under the exceptions provided for under the local government code.
Dean Jemmy, can you give us kung ano po yung mga exceptions so that the viewers will know kung ano yung hindi nila pwedeng ilapit sa barangay?
Okay, number one, if the party involves a corporation, we're gonna file against a corporation or yung tinatawag na juridical entity. Number two, if it is against the government or any of its instrumentalities or subdivisions. Or number three, if it involves a public officer in the performance of their duties and responsibilities. Or if there is also no private offended party involved.
And then, Dean Jemmy, siguro I'd like to emphasize lang yung when you said public officer. So, kunwari, meron kang neighbor or kapitbahay na barangay captain din or nagtatrabaho dun sa court. Pero ang away ninyo is because, kunwari, lumampas yung pinapagawa nilang bakuran dun naman sa property mo. Is that something that you can then file with the barangay?
It doesn't follow if one of the parties is a public officer, exception ka agad yun. Okay? It must relate to the performance of his function. Mahawa pulis nang huli siya, tapos
Right.
nag-file ka ng kaso.
Right.
Pero kung petty lang, as a neighbor, di ka nagkakaintindihan, then it has to undergo also barangay conciliation.
Attorney Ruth, may I ask you, what are the usual cases that you handle? Or alam ko, what are the rules, no? For example, with respect to lawyers being present during the barangay level process?
Well, actually, lawyers are prohibited from
Right.
attending the conciliation, mediation proceedings in the barangay.
I think that's important for our televiewers to know kasi minsan they send their lawyers to mga
Yes.
barangay
Or
mediation.
baka dun pa lang nagpapasama na sila sa lawyers. So it's important to remind everyone that if you're at the barangay level, you cannot bring your lawyers. Sa inyo muna yon, right?
Actually, ang pwede nilang representative to go with them, yung next of kin, pwede yan. Pero lawyers, unless they are the ones who are the parties to the dispute, pwede silang umattend.
But what are the common disputes that they bring up to the Lupon, no? And to the barangay chairman?
In this outreach program,
Yeah.
because they've been helping
Yeah.
San Sebastian, PUP, their legal aid programs, they've been helping in this outreach program. In your experience during the outreach program, what was the number one concern that you noticed that's usually common among the participants?
Ang nangyayari kasi, people are confused which are the cases cognizable by the barangay and which cases could be directly filed in court. Actually, hindi lang sa barangay level ang nagkakaroon ng problema because police officers, nagkakaroon din sila ng confusion. Like halimbawa, VAUSI, covered ba yan ng barangay o direktang filing na yan sa court?
So VAUSI, for instance, did you get a lot of questions sa VAUSI during this outreach program?
Maraming VAUSI, violence against women and children.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, child abuse, maraming mga kaso.
But can you clarify, Dean, in cases of VAUSI, violence against women and children, pag may nambubugbog na partner or asawa or boyfriend, is this something that they can bring to the barangay or is this exempted?
Sa ganung pagkakataon, hindi na kinakailangan. Kasi dapat it should, pag over 1 year ang penalty, hindi na dumadaan ng barangay conciliation. There's also express provision sa VAUSI na hindi dapat dumaan ng VAUSI sa barangay for conciliation and mediation.
Now, Attorney Ruth, let's say if a person is already detained, no, arrested, are there any, in that case ba, we don't go through the barangay process?
There's
of
no need
mediation?
to undergo the barangay conciliation proceedings. Isa yan sa mga exceptions actually. Kasama
detained.
yan. Those who are under detention or those disputes which are coupled with provisional remedies or those who are deprived of their liberty, calling for habeas corpus proceedings, and actually kasama yung sa Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law. And VAUSI.
Labor cases hindi rin kasama.
Covered ng
Didiretso na
barangay.
sila either sa NLRC or Department of Labor, kung ano yung applicable.
Yes, correct.
Dean Jemmy, I'd also like siguro for you to emphasize kung kailan may jurisdiction yung barangay. Kasi I think a lot of people also don't know na pagkaaway mo ay taga-malayong barangay, paano nga naman sila pupunta pareho sa barangay? So maybe clarify kung kasama ba yung away between people from different cities or municipalities as something that you can settle with the barangay process.
First of all, merong misconnotation. It's not a barangay court. Diba? Hindi court ang barangay, hindi naman sila sa legal. But it's only, the purpose is only for mediation and conciliation. Usually, general rule, dapat magka-barangay. If they reside in different cities or municipalities, hindi rin magko-cover sa katarungang pambarangay law.
What if naman
Unless adjoining ang barangay nila.
It's voluntary.
Yes.
Okay.
And now what if the subject matter is outside of the barangay? Let's say they're both from the same barangay, but the subject matter is outside. Let's say it's a property outside of the barangay. Is that something that they need to bring up?
Pag involving real property, the same cities or municipalities din. Pagka magkaiba, dapat meron silang kasunduan to bring it to barangay for
If it's
conciliation
outside.
and
If it's
mediation.
outside, right.
And now, Rod,
Yes.
interestingly, we've already talked about yung lupon ng barangay, and Dean Jemmy has clarified they're not a court. Yun yung common misconception. But as part of this outreach program, kasama natin ngayon, they're the actual members of the lupon ng barangay dito sa San Juan City.
Yes.
And they're here with us today, and meron din silang mga tanong that of course, they want to consult with lawyers and of course with our experts, Nadine and Attorney
And we'll
Ruth.
let's see how we can help them in the dispensation of their responsibilities as Lupon members. Mr.
Fred
Freds?
Velasco, I
Mr.
think, has a question.
Mr. Fred Velasco, you have a question po.
Well, regarding this case, we have, it's about child molestation.
Child
Pero,
molestation.
Yes, hindi na tinuloy ng mother kasi napahiya na, lumipat sila ng lugar to avoid everything, no? So hindi na namin nakuha yung case. And that I want to ask if we can still pursue the case if the mother comes in to pursue the case.
If the complainants have already transferred.
Yes,
So,
the transfer.
ayan.
So, our experts here, Dean, Jemmy, Attorney Ruth, what are your thoughts
Sige, go ahead.
on this?
Yung sa child molestation, hindi na ho kinakailangan na dumaan sa barangay po yun. Ang general rule, kung saan po ginawa yung krimen, that's where you're gonna file the case. So kung saan ginawa yung molestation, that's where you're going to file the case. Hindi na po daraan sa barangay yan. You can file it with the Office of the City Prosecutor kung saan mang city po nangyari yung bagay na yun.
Pero in this case, I think nag-transfer na, no? Nag-transfer na yung complainant, yung victim tsaka yung mother, nag-transfer na ng barangay.
Wala pong kinalaman pag-transfer. They can still go,
They can still go,
where the crime is committed and file a case in the proper Office of the City Prosecutor.
All right. Any more questions from our...
Ako po si Benedict Lugatdula, lupo ng Barangay Balumbato.
Ay,
Ang katanungan ko po ay ito. Meron po kaming nahawakang kaso na yung idinidemanda ay hindi po sumipot tatlong patawag namin.
Hindi sumipot.
Hindi po. Ano po ang ikakaso namin?
Okay.
Okay.
So ano pong remedies? Tama, nung mga lupon, in case meron silang mga respondents or complainants na ayaw naman pumunta, hindi nagpapakita.
Ganito po yun. Itatanong po muna natin kung yan po ba ay galing sa lupon or sa pangkat. Kasi magkaiba yun eh. Tingnan nyo po muna kung hindi nakuha dun sa pangkat, kailangan po mag-constitute ng lupon para ipatawag yung respondent. Ngayon po, kung yung respondent hindi pa rin po mag-appear despite the summons of the pangkat, ang mangyayari po, pwede pong mag-initiate ng indirect contempt proceedings in court, yung lupon, pangkat, or yung dun, isa sa mga complainants, kung ayaw umattend dun sa patawag yung respondents.
So pwede bang puwersahin kunwari ng barangay tanod o ng mga pulis ng barangay nila para papuntahin itong respondent na hindi pumupunta?
Hindi siya pwedeng, you cannot compel that person either by warrant of arrest or yung pipilitin
Hindi pwedeng
mong
puwersa.
kuhanin.
Oo.
Because you must go to court and file a proceeding specifically yung para magkaroon ng indirect contempt for not following
Pero
the,
ano yung form ng summons? Ano yung form for our televiewers, no, who might get I guess summoned to a procedure like this? Kailangan ba itatawag lang or is it a formal letter? A formal letter from the lupon?
sa mga barangay, meron silang pro forma
Pro forma, okay.
summons.
Right. Oo. Para at least alam ng
standard
mga
na yung
televiewers na hindi na pwedeng text or tawag. Di ba? Di ba? Yung
No,
pinapatawag kayo ng lupon.
it has to be
Oo.
formal, yung
Yeah.
pro forma form
Correct.
ng barangay.
Oo. Yes.
And sir, so ito 3 beses na hindi sumisipot, palagay ko pwede na po kayong pumunta sa korte at humingi ng order to call this person in the indirect contempt po para mapuwersa ng pumunta.
Ayan.
So
Okay.
may
Pagka po, let me just add, pagka po ang complainant talagang willfully ayaw niya nang sumipot sa hearing, pwede ma-dismiss ang complaint niya. Pag ang respondent naman ang hindi nag-appear despite notice, pwede na mag-issue ng certificate to file action ang complainant.
I see.
mayroon po kayong 2 options. Either pwede nyo ipa-contempt, pwede rin pong gumawa na kayo ng certificate to file action.
To file
Ibig sabihin,
action.
the complainant can go to the court.
Basta yung respondent ang hindi nagre-respond. Kasi minsan complainant. Pag complainant, wala na yan. Okay, meron pang katanungan? Yes, sir.
Magandang umaga po.
Ah.
Ako po si Hermes Cachola ng Barangay Progreso.
Yes, sir.
Ang katanungan ko po ay, kung halimbawa po may mga taong lumapit sa amin na humingi ng assistance sa kanilang kaso, ito po ba ay kaagad sa lupo ng barangay o hihingi pa kami ng pahintulot sa barangay council para magkaroon kami ng proceeding sa kaso?
Kailangan malaman nga muna kung yung mga kaso na yon na idudulog sa inyo, cognizable ng barangay, conciliation, mediation. Kasi nga, katulad sa criminal case, kung ang penalty is more than 1 year, hindi na dadaan ng barangay. So, dapat siguro malaman natin kung ano ang mga cases na dapat isangguni sa barangay. Criminal cases, more than 1 year, or a fine of over 5,000, hindi na rin dumadaan ng barangay yun.
Kung halimbawa po, at sa lupo ng barangay, meron kaming isang nalutas na kaso, hindi po may iwasan natin yung natalo sa kaso, magtanim sa amin ng galit. Hindi po nawawala yan eh. Kanino po kami lalapit para sa aming safety, sa aming security?
Napakagandang tanong yan. Very practical.
It's a practical question, no? More than a legal question.
Ginagawa lang nila yung trabaho nila. Tapos, of course, siguro yung iba, lalo na pag masama yung loob, the security risk lies with the members of the Lupon. So, from a practical perspective, what can they do to protect themselves?
Actually, kung kayo yung may control dun sa barangay, you could protect yourselves actually. Pero kung halimbawa yung diskumpiyado dun sa naging resulta ng barangay proceedings, meron naman ding appropriate recourse sila. Pwedeng hindi sila pumayag doon sa kasunduan, diretso sa mag-antay sila ng certificate to file action and i-file yung kaso. Tapos, kung gusto talaga nilang kasuhan kayo, meron din tayong appropriate administrative remedies para isangkot kayo. Pero kasi ang gusto mo, protection. Meron din naman kayong protection kasi you are always given the presumption of regularity every time you perform your duties. So, kumbaga, balance din.
So, we still have a lot to discuss and we still will continue to give advice as this outreach program goes on. But for now, we'll take another break. Legal Help Desk will return after these reminders. You're still watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News Channel. And we are still here at the San Juan City Gymnasium for a legal aid outreach program. And of course, we still have here Dean Jemmy Festin of the PUP College of Law and Attorney Ruth Balita of the San Sebastian College.
And we're talking about, of course, yung barangay justice, the barangay justice system. Now, there's several terms, no? I think for a lot of our televiewers, no, our ordinary folks, the lay people, the non-lawyers, some of the terms are, I guess, confusing. Kasi parang they sound the same, but they're actually legally different. There's mediation, there's conciliation, and arbitration. Perhaps, Attorney Ruth, can you provide us with a little bit of yung anong difference ng tatlong yun, no? Para alam nila yung, mas alam nila yung process sa barangay judicial system.
Well, actually, these three terms are all alternative dispute resolution processes.
Yes.
And then for mediation, usually it is either court annexed or minsan mandated by law. And then for the arbitration, usually it is also upon the parties, they would insert a certain clause in their, for example, an agreement, so that an arbitration proceedings will be had before going to court. So magkakaroon muna doon. And then for the other term, what's
Well, mediation, conciliation, and
Arbitration.
arbitration.
Yes, arbitration.
Conciliation. Usually there is consultation prior to the meeting. So
I think siguro the useful guideline here would be when you have conciliation and mediation, whatever you agree on, that's what you have to follow. Kung ano
Yes.
yung napagkasunduan nyo. And the parties, the third parties there, yung lupon, they're only there to facilitate para
Yes.
magbate, mag-usap. But then when you have arbitration, the lupon, when they arbitrate, kung ano yung maging decision nila, the parties are required to follow that decision. They're
In a
bound
way,
by that.
in a way, it's like them making a decision, a
Yeah.
court decision,
Yeah.
di ba? Which is,
Oo.
yung pagdating sa execution nun, kunyari, they were able to come into agreement, or let's say the Lupuan came up with the decision as an arbitration body, paano yung execution process nun? Yung how do you implement that decision?
There are two ways actually. Within 6 months from the date of settlement, pwede yan by way of motion doon sa barangay. Pero after 6 months from the date of settlement, the execution must be by court action. So, two ways yun. Ganun na nga.
Okay.
And the Lupon members are still here with us.
Yes.
And I think they still have more questions. May mga, kung katanungan po kayo, nandito po yung mga experts natin para tumulong sagutin.
Good evening po, ma'am.
Yes.
Sir.
Good evening.
I'm Elena Leona, alupon from one barangay here in San Juan. Gusto ko lang po sanang tanong sa inyo tungkol dun sa isang kaso namin sa barangay na naka-sequester yung aming tanod ng isang nagnanakaw. Then, nakumpiska namin yung ninakaw niya, tapos dinala namin sa barangay. Then after maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, some of our officer also in the barangay, kinuha yung item na kinumpiska namin. Then, I do not know kung nasaan na. Afterwards, na-discover namin na yung blotter dun sa blotter book, sinira nila, binawasan nila. So ano po dapat namin gawin?
Dapat pagka merong ganong krimen na nangyari, tapos nakuha niyo yung epektos ng krimen, tutulungan niyo po sila mag-file ng kaso. Kung di man conciliate, hindi naman subject ng conciliation sa barangay, dapat sa police, tulungan, part po ng trabaho natin bilang mga barangay officials na assistihan sila sa police. Kasi kung sino man po ang apprehending officer, he will have to execute an affidavit of complaint. Pati po mga epektos, dapat ito turn over po doon sa police.
Pero sir, wala pong complainant dahil yung sinequester namin na ninanakaw, it's naka lang sa isang bakanting lote. Kaya lang, nung makita ng tanod, inireport, tapos kinumpiska namin doon sa nagnakaw. Ang masama lang to, ninote namin sa blotter book. Then after 3 weeks, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, yung item nga ninanakaw, na kinumpiska namin, kinuha din ng officer din. Then, hindi na namin nakita kung nasaan. Sabi nila, binenta daw. I do not know. Ngayon, ang problema ko lang, yung blotter na ginawa is napingasan. Inalis yung ibang statement doon. Yun ang kinuha.
Pwede pong criminal case yun. Pagka private person ang kumuha nun, pwedeng it will constitute the crime of theft. Kasi wala po tayong tinatag na finder's keeper. Kapag nakita mo yung akin na to, di ba? May obligation po tayo i-turn over yun sa proper government officer. Pagka naman public officer siya, that may constitute as malversation kasi naging dapat in custody na ng gobyerno o ng state yun. Pwede po siya maging liable for a criminal case. Kung officer siya, pwede po siya liable doon sa sinabi kong sa pangalawang case.
Ngayon, meron bang situation naman na you can repudiate? For example, nagkaroon na ng decision, either through settlement or decision by arbitration. Pwede mo i-repudiate yun? Let's say, one of the parties can repudiate it and just say, I don't want to recognize that settlement or decision. May mga situation na gano'n, and what is the remedy after that?
Yes, for the repudiation of the agreement, usually same causes for annulment of contracts. may fraud, may terror, may intimidation, etc. And then you have 10 days from date of settlement to file a motion para dun sa repudiation ng agreement.
So very important, you have to do it within 10 days. From the date of yung agreement mo at the barangay level.
Okay.
Yes. And of course, we still have a lot of issues to talk about, a lot of questions, tsaka marami pang requests for advice. And we'd like to thank, of course, Dean Festin of PUP College of Law.
Thank you very much.
For
Also
being with
inviting
us and for helping us in our Legal Aid Outreach Program. Thank you rin po, Attorney Ruth Balita of San Sebastian College for helping. And I hope that you continue to help after we say goodbye for now. And maraming salamat din po sa mga members ng Lupon.
Thank you po.
And nabanggit po kanina ni Vice Mayor that you are an awarded, recognized Lupon for doing a good job. So I hope you serve as an example to the other barangay conciliators out there here in the Philippines. Maraming salamat po for joining us.
Thank you po.
And we've said goodbye to our guests, but the Legal Aid Outreach Program here in San Juan City Gymnasium still continues. Legal Help Desk will return after these reminders. Feels great to be outside
I know.
and not
it's,
just
it's a different feeling.
yes, to
right?
be extending legal help, but now in person.
And seeing real everyday people. Kasi normally in our show, we're in a studio, ang normal na we deal with, the normal
Yeah.
people we deal with
We
are
get
the lawyers.
to help people,
Yeah,
but
we get
through
calls.
but through Twitter, through social media. So now it's
Yeah.
great to be actually
Right.
physically interacting with the
That's
people
right.
we're helping.
That's right. And there's a lot of people who need legal help, and we're very happy to provide it right here. So we have a special guest.
Yes.
Actually, we're the special guest
Yes.
of this gentleman right here, who's larger than life. And we'd like to introduce him. Of course, he's the Vice Mayor of San Juan City, Vice Mayor Francis Zamora. Sir, good evening. Good evening.
Okay, good evening. Of course, to our host, Attorney Karen Jimeno, Attorney Nepomuceno, and to all the viewers of Solar News Channel.
Yes.
First of all, allow me to thank Solar News Channel for selecting San Juan as its beneficiary for their celebration of their first year anniversary. And we are very much thankful that all these support will be given to our constituents today, especially the Legal Help Desk. There is also a medical mission and also facilitation of SSS, Pag-IBIG and PhilHealth papers, and also legal consultations.
Right.
So before we even start, I would like to say thank you on behalf of the people of San Juan. We would like to extend our sincerest gratitude.
Thank you, Vice.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor. And thank you so much for hosting us here.
Okay,
Yes.
anytime.
Now, being the second in command in the city of San Juan, the beautiful city of San Juan, in a way, you're tasked to implement the laws and the rules. Can you tell us the usual cases that that are raised to you or raised to your attention at least, and how you go about in dispensing?
Common to that at the barangay level would be certain issues such as encroachment of properties, or double parking,
Right.
or sometimes disputes regarding, sometimes there are accusations of theft,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
accusations of not following certain ordinances at the barangay level.
Uh-oh.
So The local government code provides for the lupo ng mga barangay, which is mostly composed of the elders or people of wisdom within the barangay. And according to the local government code, all disputes must be referred to them first.
Would you say that yung current status ng mga courts sa San Juan, are they clogged with a lot of cases?
The courts are relatively not all that clogged in San Juan. And there's also a plan by the local government to actually build a new Hall of Justice to improve our MTC and RTCs.
Yeah, well,
so that would further help in the resolution of legal issues and cases.
It says a lot about the city, no? When you have a very mature judicial system in place. Thank you.
And I hope with our outreach today, we can also help prevent yung nga sinasabi mo, minsan very petty naman, kaya naman pag-usapan. Maybe if we educate these people on what remedies they have, kung ano naman yung mga issues, then hopefully they don't have to file cases.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Vice. We'll be seeing you later as we go around.
All right,
thank you so much.
Also. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have left. Thank you very much for joining us, for all those who helped in our first legal aid outreach program. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure indeed. I'm Attorney Juan Nepomuceno.
And I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, send us a message through our Facebook or Twitter accounts. Join us again next Monday as we discuss your legal rights. Good night.
Legal Help Desk would like to thank the following partners: San Juan City Vice Mayor Francis Zamora, Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, Social Security System, Pag-IBIG Fund, San Sebastian College of Law Legal Aid Office, Public Attorney's Office San Juan Chapter, Integrated Bar of the Philippines Manila 1 Chapter, the Polytechnic University of the Philippines College of Law, and Gardenia Bakeries Philippines Incorporated.